Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm Johnny Poore. I'm from Lamar County, Georgia. I'm here for myself alone. I guess I'm kind of the anomaly in the room. I have run for, I've operated for 17.5 years the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority. I build landfills, design them, have run one for the authority, and as an enterprise fund, so we engage in commerce. So I'm not against landfills and I'm not against commerce, because we engage in it every day. I may be the oxymoron in the room, because hopefully the emphasis is not on moron. But I really agree with Senator Murphy and the sponsors that there does need to be some housekeeping on this bill. It's clear that the bill does conflict with some court rulings. I also agree with the Director Barnes, who stepped into the room back there. And by the way, I looked in the mirror this morning. It does not say "fool" on my forehead, so you will not hear me disagree with Director Barnes. He has stated, and rightfully so, that the environmental protections are still in the law in Section 25.2, the one that precedes this 25.38 that is proposed to be being struck. The bottom line is this. I had not heard until today the discussion that 25.3, and the gentleman did an outstanding job, so I won't belabor it. But 25.3 clearly says you can only take waste in a landfill if it's in a recharge area from within that county. And the regional landfill has to be outside. I do think he said it very well, that it is very clear that the purpose of that bill, that portion of this law, was to restrict size. And where I would agree with the Senator is that the commerce restrictions do need to be removed, but the size restrictions need to be maintained, or limitations. Size, and well, there are other folks in the room that can correct me. I don't believe I'm wrong, though. I believe this Section 23.3A is the only provision that is a provision for environmental protection, for a landfill and a groundwater recharge area, that is greater than the environmental protections for those outside. Said a different way, if you remove the size restrictions, and permitting, as my understanding is only limited to the size of the footprint. If you buy 1,000 acres, and if it meets all the other requirements, you can get permitted whatever is available within that meets all the other restrictions. So the point is this: we have, as a state, determined that certain areas we call environmentally sensitive. It's in the law. It's in the Georgia Solid Waste Management Plan. It's in almost every solid waste management plan for every city and county. It's in the DCA guidelines. These environmentally sensitive areas have always been given greater protective measures than the areas that are in the plain white over there. Let me give you two examples right quick. Wetlands, well, three. Wetlands, river corridors, and stream buffers. You cannot put a landfill in those. And the obvious reasons is because those are more environmentally sensitive and they are more susceptible. Therefore, and groundwater recharge is one that today is still listed that way. I guess what I'm trying to say is, and I'll close with this, to remove that section that limits size, it means that there's no difference for environmental protection for a landfill in a groundwater recharge area than those outside. They both require liners and leachate collection systems. The reason we had additional protections in the groundwater recharge areas is because the soil is porous. The other soils are more impervious, have more clays, and it's kind of like you're giving protection to the weak and the vulnerable and the unable to protect themselves. That's what laws do an awful lot of times. Well, this provision was protecting an area that could not protect itself with clay. That there's not the soils are impervious. If the liners and leachate collection systems, and I'm a believer in them because that's what I do, but if they're sufficient for groundwater recharge areas, then they should be sufficient for wetlands. they should be sufficient for river corridors. They should be sufficient for stream buffers. And I don't agree with that. I don't think anybody in here would. And I don't think if this bill said we'd like to place a large landfill next to the Chattahoochee River or next to Lake Lanier, that it would even see the light of day. So that is the point that I would like to leave you with, that it would have the same environmental protections in a recharge area, is my understanding, as those outside. The only difference for recharge areas was that it says, okay, you still have to have liner leachate collection, but you've got to be small. Now, finally, to limit the size of a landfill doesn't limit commerce. You can do that. I'm a testament to that. We're a small landfill, but we take in waste from across the county lines. We conduct commerce. We compete with the second largest waste company 16 miles from my doorstep every day, and I don't mind, I don't blink an eye. We both cohabitate within 16 miles of each other and do a fine job. So to limit size does not limit commerce. Two totally different issues, and I pray that you would either amend 110 or I've heard speaking of a moratorium. That would give us time for everyone to think this through clearly to protect the recharge areas. And I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.